Hi again, this is Ann Holmes with No Sewing Until You Quilt It. Today we're going to continue showing building the long side of our quilt, Happy in the Mountains. We had a computer glitch, so we had to stop and start again. But the nice thing about working on our quilting units is that you can work ahead. We're demonstrating there are two long sides, two short sides, and two long sides. So we were able to start stitching and quilting on the second unit, but leaving the 2-inch margin at the top for joining all the units later on. But today we're going to be continuing showing you building the rest of the long side. Right now we're continuing to build on the opposite side of this. And so the only thing here is we're going to have two sides to turn. We're going to have this side and this side. So we'll just do one of these to show you. Carefully position it with sighting your lines on the pattern and your registration mark. Sometimes you have just to shift something just slightly so that everything comes together. But sometimes you get so anxious to keep building, but it's good to take a break once in a while, wash your hands and wash your gluing mat too. And then about the halfway mark, you should take your big iron and let the heat do the work. Just press everything nice. Just press everything over the whole table, making sure you've sealed down everything to the French fuse foundation. All right, we've run out of table space, so I just wanted to show you how you can reposition your drawing. Even if you're working on a much smaller table than what I have, you can remove all of the blue painter's tape that's holding both the working drawing and the French fuse to the table. Then you can just pick up everything together, the top of our quilt and the working drawing, which is underneath. Just give it a tug and move it up. And so then we're going to anchor it down again. We don't have to do the whole thing, but this part where we're working, we should anchor it again with freezer tape.
So we had a little computer video malfunction when I was showing you the dove on the other end of this long side. We got everything except for the berry and the leaf. So I'm going to show you right here at the end, same process. We've got other videos if you want to see more. So to do a leaf, it's the same process as we've done before. None of these are inside curves, so I don't need to clip it. So I'm going to do one side at a time just to try and keep my fingers from getting really sticky. So glue one side, finger press, and then glue the other side. And one of the nice things about Ann's technique is that you're able to do complicated curves that would be really difficult in traditional piecing. And it's just as simple as, gluing and
following the paper.
following the paper. Clip my dog ears. Do a second gluing on the seam allowance that we just made. And the glue is going to hold the seam allowance. The French fuse will hold the body, but because this piece is entirely on top, almost like an applique piece, you want to make sure you're generous with the glue for these guys, because there's nothing else on top of it that's going to be sealing it down. So until you take it to the sewing machine and stitch and quilt all at the same time, the only thing holding this piece on here is the French fuse in the middle, but then the glue around the edges. And we've shown you a couple different ways to do berries. I'm going to show you my way. This is the one time that we do clip, or that I clip outside curves. Kind of like if you were making, putting in a sleeve into a dress or a shirt or something. Just clip all the way around. You don't want to go all the way to the paper because you don't want it to fray out. You want to leave enough that as you're sewing it, it'll catch your fabric. So after clipping, flip it over. One of those moments where your fingers are just going to get sticky, go ahead and glue the whole thing. And then I turn the pattern away from me, or the freezer paper pattern away, and just pinch and pleat. If you end up with points, you can use your sewer's stiletto to kind of help even them out. The more you do it, the better and faster you'll get at it. Finger press. And do your second gluing. Again, being generous with the glue because the glue is holding the seam allowances together, and because there's just a small piece, there's not a lot of French fuse holding the body. Line up your registration marks and seal down.
Building the long sides of Happy in the Mountains demonstrates that all of the short sides were the same as the long sides, the same construction. This design is in all 4 of the side units. The long sides just have the addition of the dove, and you'll be able to see the whole construction of the side units by watching steps 12, 1, 2, and 3. Stay tuned for more videos on stitching and quilting all at the same time. And thank you for watching. Happy quilting!